G'day guys and welcome to my channel. My name's Corey and I've decided to start my YouTube journey as a way of showcasing my skills, tips, techniques and things that I've learned over my 20-year career within the film and theatre industries. In my career I've been lucky enough to work on some major productions with huge budgets, all the way down the scale to things which have got virtually nothing. I'm going to show you some of the things that I've learned to create awesome props, some makeup effects and all sorts of things throughout my coming videos. I'm going to start out by showing you how I made this awesome SCAR rifle from Fortnite using some amazing plans by Andrew DFT, which you'll be able to follow the link in the description below to see his channel and get a copy of the plans to help you make this as well. So let's have a look. So I started by blowing up a picture of the gun to full scale. I downloaded Andrew's plans and cut them all out before sticking them all together to give me a full-size scale of what it's going to look like. And I cut down the various pieces for each of the different levels. So the middle section was obviously one level, then the next layers up, being 2 and 3. In retrospect, I could have left the actual magazine cartridge in here, but I chose not to. Just using a straight edge ruler and a nice clean sharp knife, I cut out all the sections one by one. I started using a scalpel blade for some of the more intricate bits, but I got out a diamond blade sharpener to save myself on blades. This is doing the second layers now, and then I'll cut that down to make the third layer. Trimmed all them out, glued them in place on top of the main part of the gun. I purposely chose the right place to put that jigsaw kind of piece, knowing that it was going to get covered later. Using a sharp knife I beveled all the edges and then used the Dremel just to round them off so they're nice and clean. Sandpaper just to finish off any rough edges that were left behind. Sealed it with the heat gun and then came in afterwards and trimmed in some of the more intricate details that are seen on the gun. Any little nicks that were kind of carved in could be then opened up using the heat gun technique. So plenty of contact cement to glue the two halves together, spread out with a bit of off-cut of foam or a blade in the case of this part. Then repeated the same thing on the other side. On this side I decided to actually cut the piece out altogether. Use my Dremel to round off the edges. I then slice it down to make it a little bit thinner. To make it thinner, I was able to recess it a little bit and I think that had a better finish. Before I went and got the Dremel to carve out the little intricate little bolts that are on the inside. So again, more contact adhesive to glue that side on, layering the pieces up. Then I decided to get a bit of 2mm craft foam. I trimmed that out to cover where the handguard is and the trigger is. This was mainly done because the other part of the jigsaw piece was actually on the back side of this gun that you can't see at the moment, and so I was using the 2mm piece just to kind of hide that. It also gave it a little bit thicker so that when I put the magazine in it fit better. So for the butt of the gun, again looking at the different layers, so I added another second layer and a third layer to get the correct thickness I want, trim them out, and then I beveled the edge off with a knife later on and then sanded them down. Glued them together. edge off to create that bevel, which I'll then round off with the Dremel just to make it nice and clean and smooth. Bit of sandpaper to finish, and then repeat with the other half, and then they're ready to glue on. Also took the time to create a couple of little detail bits between where the guard is and the rest of the gun is, which gets painted black later, but it looked a bit flat and I just thought it needed a bit more detail, so I created a few little bits of foam just to glue it on the inside in here, just so it looked a bit neater and nicer. Then repeat the same thing on the other side. You can see I've already put the 2mm bit around the handle and the trigger guard. Bit of drum work for some detail. And then just bevel it, once again using the Dremel to bevel off all those edges around the handle, get it nice and smooth, sandpaper just to finish it up, so it gives a more nicer finish. Then the back actual butt of the gun needs to have an extra layer as well, so this actually ended up being 4 layers thick on the very end here, which got all these little striations and grid pattern at the back, which I ended up cutting out with the knife and then sanding up a little bit more to make it a bit neater. So just gluing all these bits together, and then with the magazine here, just do 2 layers thick of the floor mats with some 2mm trimming, and just glue that straight onto the underside of the gun. Once everything was all finished, I just need to put a little bit of detail work in around the trigger guard and the handle. So gluing on a few little pieces using the Dremel tool, of course, to make those bolts, and then I sealed the whole thing with a Rust-Oleum spray, as unfortunately I can't get plastic dip here in Australia too easily. I then masked off all the areas that I wanted to spray with the gunmetal grey, using aluminium foil just to save on masking tape. Gave them a good spray, good coat. I only needed to do 1 coat with all this because a lot of it I was going to kind of fill in, and you can see just I've kind of done the rail, the magazine, and a few spots there. So then demasking all that gunmetal grey section, and then I remasked up all of the gunmetal that's been painted there to give it a final coat with the khaki cream base colour, and then a bit of art finishing, and it's done. Some scratches and a bit of extra paint work, just some dry brushing in here and there just to finish it up, which I'll show in another video. And that's how it came up. And that's it, guys, a SCAR rifle from Fortnite. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, as well as leave any suggestions you have for other things I might be able to have a crack at building. I've got a few other builds I'm going to be doing in the future from Fortnite, and I'm also going to be looking at some other gaming related builds as well. I've got a range of ideas for the future, and as this channel grows we'll see where it takes us, but I'd really like for you guys to have some input as you go along. So please give me a thumbs up down below, leave a comment on what you think you'd like to see me do or where I should take the channel, and I will see you next time.